you.
I think we're live. First things first, can you guys hear me? Can someone in there give me a thumbs up if the audio's sounding good? I have to use the audio on the computer. And actually, I'm going to turn... We've got a fan going, so we can actually sit here. It's still really hot. So give me some input on the audio so I can figure out if I need to change anything. Peter Hatch says we're good. Does that sound right? I'll give it a few more minutes here. We started a little bit early today.
Is the fan annoying?
Yeah. Can you get? Is the fan too much? I've got a fan off screen, and I want to make sure. I gotta stop reading. You're in charge of the comments because I'll just keep reading the comments the whole time. Do you have your phone?
I don't. Let me go get my phone.
Okay. I'll just sit here reading everything, and while Carl is off camera grabbing his phone, I'm gonna give you guys a little story. So as you guys know, Sandvik here has been doing his build every weekend for like the last 6 weeks.
Oh gosh, it's got to be 7 or 8 now.
7 or 8 weeks. And today he decided, well, he didn't decide, he knew he needed to do a 30,000 mile service on his 2020 2500. And am I right? 2020?
Yeah, 2020 Ram 2500.
6.7?
Yes, 6.7 diesel. I'm not thinking straight.
No,
as you're about to tell.
So, Carl is kind of a vegetable right now. It has been exceedingly hot here in Southern California as a whole. I mean, it's been absolutely brutal. Last week when we did this, it was 108, which Santa Barbara doesn't get hot like that. That's not how this place operates. So we don't have
trying
AC.
to come here to get away from the heat.
Yeah, seriously. Well, and then the humidity. This tropical storm K brought us quite a bit of rain, which was very welcome. But oh man, has it been? It's been absolutely brutally hot. So Carl's been kicking ass despite all that. I mean, I show up and I expect to find him passed out under the truck, but I almost did today. So that's the cool story. So I decided, shoot, 2 months ago. This is before Carl came up, that I wasn't going to help him. I just, had a conversation with myself, and I realized if I started helping him, I'd end up helping him every time, and I would just break my back, and just, you got this, dude. You got this.
Yeah.
You don't need me.
Well, and I don't want you taking away all your time from the shop either. I mean,
well, I don't want to work on your stuff. It's too pretty.
That's true.
It's beautiful.
I don't want you screwing it up.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Anyway, so Carl's here doing all his thing, and occasionally I'll jump in and offer some unhelpful advice at inopportune moments. But anyway, I got here today, and he's doing the 30,000 mile on his truck, and that's 2 fuel filters, 1 oil filter, air filter, just basic stuff. And man, it was hot. He was working hard. They wanted $1,000 for this.
Yeah, the
service.
factory service is $1,000.
$1,000 for $200 worth of parts.
Yeah, it's
so I could see that Carl was circling the drain. I mean, it was just incoherent rambling over there, and
what's that one main fuel filter up on the motor on the 6.7? It's right up
28 mil.
Yeah, it's a 28 millimeter, and this plastic cap. This thing was on there so tight. It was like
it's supposed to be on like 20 foot-pounds.
Yeah, it's like I can't get this thing off.
And we hit it with impacts. Yeah.
Try not to break the plastic.
Anyway, so I'm over here setting up this stream, and he's babbling away over there. I'm trying not to pay any attention to him, and he finally plops down here in the seat, and he's like, took out the fuel filter. I'm like, yeah, I know. I watched you almost strip the cap. He's like, I put everything back together, go to close up the truck, and the replacement fuel filter was sitting on top of the battery. So
It's one of those days.
this guy is so fried right now. I don't know what he's going to say, but I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, one of those days where I just looked at it. I was like, all right, got to take that cap off again.
Did you torque it down to like 600 foot-pounds too?
No, but it seemed like it.
Oh, it still wouldn't come off?
It was hard to get off
It's
again.
that ABS plastic on it.
Oh my God.
It's a plastic cap.
sucks.
It's like a hard ABS plastic, but
I did not tighten it that tight.
Yeah.
It was hard to get off.
yeah.
So,
Anyway, so if Carl is, rambling a little bit, or me, that we're both tired.
yeah.
But I thought
So
today.
let's change the subject because someone's asking about
What?
clumstone or clumsitone.
Clumsy. Have you purchased it?
Clumsitone. Oh, low battery. It says
I'm
about to do lizard skin.
His
Oh,
name
we
is
just did that.
Clumsy Stone. Shy-tone. Anyway,
Clumsy Tone.
answer that, because you did the lizard skin.
Yeah, sorry about the name there. I'm having a hard time today.
Yeah.
No, the lizard skin went on really well. We just did it on the firewall on my truck. Cleaned it off really well. Scrubbed it with Purple Power and all that kind of good stuff to get the grease off.
Don't go crazy on that, though. Like,
No. Don't go too crazy. But I did take some a Scotch-Brite pad for paint. I went over the whole paint, scratched it up, and then just acetoned it and cleaned it off. And it sprayed on really easy.
Yep.
You want to cover up anything you don't want to get done, so mask really well. Spend
it
your
does
time in
stick
masking.
to everything.
Yeah. Spend your time in masking. And then with that, just spray it on. It goes on really easy with the gun. And it came out great.
Yeah. Now, Carl did the thermal barrier.
Yeah, I did the
ceramic.
I did the thermal and the sound, which is the ceramic stuff.
But mine was thicker.
The ceramic goes on a little thinner.
And a little lighter in color, too.
Yeah, it's kind of a grayish purple.
It's more flat.
Yeah, it's more of a flat color, and it has a lot more texture to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I didn't really put it on too heavy.
So I did on the Burb, I did all the wheel liners, I did the firewall, I did all front to back underneath. I did the sound deadener, which did spray on pretty good. It's kicking butt. It's still on there. It hasn't. The only places that it has come off are areas that were, it got overspray on some plastic, and it came off that sort of thing. But everything else, it's been nails. And I actually sprayed some of that when you had the extra left over.
Yeah.
I sprayed the inside of the bed, just popped the liners off, stuck the gun in, and just coated it. Noticeable difference just in that.
Yeah.
And then you drove in my truck yesterday.
Yeah, I drove in it yesterday with the everything. Well, I drove in it when you had the lizard skin underneath.
Yep.
And that sounded pretty good. And then yesterday, after you put the mat inside and then sprayed inside the doors with the lizard skin and put your new hinges on and new seals and everything, man, it was noticeably different for a Squarebody.
Yeah.
Noticeably different. It sounded really good. And with the new tunes, it was really nice.
The thing that and what I thought we'd talk about today, and one of the things we could discuss was where our love for square bodies came. And I'd love to hear what you guys. I mean, for me, and that got me thinking about one of my objectives was making my Burb a drive like a brand new modern vehicle. That was what I had in my mind. And having driven in, I hadn't driven your truck, Carl, and driven in some other top of the line heavy duty trucks, I realized the technical advancement in comfort, sound deadening, wind noise, engine noise, I can't get there. My truck is going to drive like a square body, and that's okay. It's not going to be as quiet as I would like, but what are you going to do? So it is what it is, and it kind of reminds me that this is why I like these trucks. there's effort involved in driving them. There's nuance, and it's not, you don't have blinkers telling you when someone's next to your in the passenger lane. You can see in the mirrors they'll put things. We don't have any of that stuff.
No.
There's no active cruise
But
control.
it drove really nice. It was comfortable. We had the trailer on the back, right? So even towing, it wasn't bouncing crazy. It wasn't driving uncomfortable. It was smooth. It sounded good, and that's why I told you. I was like, man, this is really nice. This is really comfortable. I'm really impressed with just the sound deadening, new hinges, the impact on no wind noise coming in. And that's what you get with the square bodies, right? You hear a lot of that wind noise complaint. You hear the metal, hollow sound.
Yeah, it's the hollow sound.
But, man, it's none of that. It just sounds solid now.
Yeah. I'm very, very happy with it. It's a nice... I daily drive it right now. But we were using the trailer. This is another cool story. So Carl needed to get glass in the Blazer, and I recommended a guy here in town who'd done glass for me years ago. When I rolled my Blazer out in the hammers and drove it home with no windshield, this guy came out and helped me with a high lift jack stretch my frame to a rough shape that we could get glass in it. And then, he went above and beyond, and I think the whole job was less than $200. It was amazing. So I recommended him. He came down, did the same, gave Carl a great deal, got the glass in, new seal, and then tell him what he said.
Yeah, so I've been working with him back and forth. He's been really busy at his shop cleaning it up, and so I was, for the last week, trying to get him down here to come mobile and do it, because my Blazer's, of course, not driving. So he comes over the other day. He does the windshield for me. I didn't hear from him again after Friday. We were supposed to have a storm, so it rained here on Friday night, Saturday morning, and I showed up, and luckily the glass was in. So I was like, okay, great. I hadn't heard from him in Pam. So,
and I'd left early Friday.
Yeah, and you had left. So he ends up calling a little bit later, and I said, I've got to pay you. And he says, hey, do you want a roof for a Blazer? I've got one. And I said, yeah, probably. Which year is it? He says, I don't know what year, but it's got the full top. And I said, the roof that goes all the way over the driver seat and the passenger seat in the front cabin. He said, yeah, that one. And I said, does it have a tail, a lift glass on the back? He said, no. So I'm figuring, okay, 73, 75 roof. And he's like, I don't want anything for it. You can have it for free. I'm going to throw it in the trash. But I saw your trucks, and I figured you guys might want something. And I was like, yeah, we'll take it. So we run over there, and
That's so high tech.
And grab it. It's covered with dirt. The glass is intact. The roof is really in good shape. It's got roof rack holes that are plugged and all that kind of good stuff. But I was like, hey, James, you want a roof? Let's go check it. So,
Heck, yeah.
Yeah, we hooked up the trailer and went and grabbed it, and I paid him for my windshield, and it was awesome.
Well, I'll give you, there it is. I'll give you a quick lowdown on where my Squarebody love affair began. As you guys, some of you might know, I was born and raised in England and moved to the Bay Area, to San Jose, in the 80s when I was 9 years old. And I bought my Squarebody in 94. The Blazer that you guys have seen in hundreds of my videos, that is the same truck I bought for $7,200 in 1994. It was a good friend of mine who had it. It had 80,000 miles on it. And I literally looked everywhere for the perfect Blazer. I knew what I wanted. More importantly, I knew what I didn't want. I didn't want something that had been molested and something that had been cut up or had hack job on it. And I remember that truck was my first vehicle, and just the places it took me, the things that I did in it, the capabilities I saw, and then the aftermarket support. Oh man, the biggest challenge for me was I was young and I couldn't afford to do anything. I was all about, doing cheap lift springs, junkyard runs, used tires, whatever it could be, because I couldn't go certain size because I have to do gears and stuff like that, and that was not affordable. And so I guess, having had this truck for so long, I'm now living through, my childhood again. If I want something, I'm just like, I don't care if it's practical or not. I'm putting it on the truck.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah. 40-inch tires, sure. Daily driver, of course it needs coilovers. So yeah. I mean, that's. And then, what about you, Carl?
Oh gosh, I was thinking about that when you mentioned this. I don't know. When I was about the same age, 9-10 years old, I just loved, growing up watching Fall Guy. With the Fall Guy.
Oh yeah, that
K20 4-wheel drive. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that root beer brown and gold.
That was.
And then,
so badass.
oh gosh, what was the? I can't remember the show where they had the power wagons and all that kind of stuff. One guy had a power wagon, and I just loved the Broncos and the Blazers and the power wagon.
I did too. Even back then, there was no.
It was just. I thought it was awesome. It was like thought of taking a roof off of a 4-wheel drive and having a convertible. Is like, oh yeah, I'm in.
Oh.
And I've always wanted to get either a Gentleman Bronco or a Squarebody. And then I had a friend that I worked with that I bought his Blazer off of him because he was going to get rid of it and buy a Jeep, and I just couldn't let him get rid of that thing. So
that's when it started all over.
It started all over, yeah. It started all over, and I kept it. He had it just clean.
Your truck
and
is
really
so clean.
nice, and then it was just starting to build. It was like, okay, it's probably too big. I'm going to get a Jeep, And I just thought about just the utilitarianism, being able to. My girls were in marching band and color guard, and I could just throw gear in the truck. I could tow a trailer with it. I could do all, just everything with that truck.
Yeah.
I put a soft top on it, and it was just this thing's awesome. Had the roof off every summer. And just fell back in love with it, and finally said, I'm not getting rid of this. And that's when the build started. That's when I went down the rabbit hole.
So let's segue that into a discussion on the used market, because it's hot right now. I've been watching this market for years, and I've never seen it as crazy as it is right now. And I mean, I guess honestly, it doesn't really surprise me. I thought it would have hit sooner. Basically what we're seeing is the 73 to 87s, the square bodies, they have reached that nostalgic point where guys of our generation have some money to spend and want to build the truck just like we did.
Yeah.
I'm personally surprised at how fast the prices shot up, and I'll tell you why. There are so many of these things out there. That's the crazy thing to me, is this wasn't like the first gen Bronco where they only made them for like 3 years. They've made this truck for like 18 years or something. Wow. And they made it in so many different varieties. So as much as I think I understand why the price is going up to the ridiculous levels it is, I think everyone needs to chill. I think everyone needs to realize that these things are everywhere.
Yeah, they are, but there are a lot of basket cases out there, right? And finding a nice one.
What would you consider a basket case?
Basket case, just rust, right? So rust all through the
non-repair,
the
like
rockers,
the hardcore stuff.
Down in the the floorboards, the rockers, wheel wells all rusted out, frames butchered.
Yeah.
Butchered frames.
Yeah.
But then you've got all the military trucks, right? So you've got a lot of military trucks floating around out there that don't take a whole lot to flip, right?
Yeah.
You can clean them up and flip them.
Those are demanding more of a premium, I've noticed now, because people recognize they had maintenance done to them because they were military. So they've always been maintained and always had they were running well. I just want to throw that out there for you guys. I get a lot of emails from people who say they can't find something, or there's none of these, or where did you find that? And I guess that kind of surprises me, because I do see these trucks everywhere still.
Well, and then you've got, like, I drive through Colorado or Utah and Colorado, and they're all over in the yards, right? And I think
maybe we're being
that's
a
the
little
hard thing
geographically.
Yeah. I think that's what's tough. At least on the West Coast, right? You do have a lot of them out there, but the market's hot. There's a demand for them, but there's a lot of people that have these in the yards that don't know that they're hot.
Right there.
They don't know that they're hot.
That's the fundamental thing that I've found. I mean, quite honestly, anyone who's contacted me with a truck they're going to sell generally knows the value of the truck they're selling because they've Googled me or they've been watching YouTube that has trucks involved in it. But when I go cruise through Craigslist and ads and, what's the other new one? Not Craigslist, but OfferUp.
OfferUp, yeah.
Dude, you can find tons of them. So I'm just throwing this out there for those of you who may be getting discouraged. Don't be patient. Just be patient. Don't pick up something that's beyond your skill level body-wise. If it's what I would be looking for if I was in the place of someone who's limited mechanical experience, just look for something that hasn't been molested. And that means look for something that doesn't have like a crazy aftermarket lift kit. Look for something that doesn't have like a crazy stereo lighting hack job that someone else put in. As close to stock as possible. And then for me at least, body and paint is the one thing that I can't do.
Yeah.
Yet, so.
Well, and even if you get something that's, a little rough around the edges, that's where you start learning. Go through and change, take a look at the oils, make sure they're clear, clean out the inside, put some new carpet in it. And that's what's great is you've got some companies now that there's a lot of aftermarket support on these now, right? And that's what's amazing. There's just more and more stuff that is coming around.
Yeah.
So
we have a question here from Jack Rockholt. Fix the old wiring or redo the whole truck. Which would be better? Redo.
Yeah, probably.
What?
Because how bad is it that you need to fix it? I guess is the question.
Redo. I just, first of all, depending on the age of the truck, most likely the capacity isn't there to run the kind of accessories that a modern truck needs. The fuse panel is not going to have like 8 ports on it, and there's so many good companies out there that make just plug and play fuse boxes, plug and play systems.
Yeah.
I rewired my whole Blazer, and it was not bad at all. Although I would suggest, if you do not have the bulkhead fuse panel connector, which didn't start until later, I don't think, relocate your fuse panel. It'll simplify things because you're going to get in and out of that thing for a lot of years. Move it somewhere else. Under where it is right now, underneath is a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Mr. Sandvik?
Well, I was just doing a wiring diagram this week. I was playing around in Miro doing a wiring diagram. So I'm trying to. It started with wiring the seats for the BMW seats. So I'm going to put some E92 BMW seats I found in gray leather. Found a great deal on
How you mounting
Craigslist. Some Merricks Garage seat mounts. Shameless plug.
Is it a plug if it's on my own channel?
No, I guess not.
I
guess not. Overly cheesy to have fun with it. So I went ahead and got the E92 seats. Watched some really funky video on how to wire them up.
So E92, that's
E92 is an M3. 2007-ish M3 BMW M3.
2007 to 2012, I believe. It followed the E46, and the seats. This is a little known secret. Junkyard European coupe.
Yeah.
Amazing seats. Audis, Mercedes, BMW. I'm particular to BMW, but those seats are phenomenal, and you can find them. How much did you pay for yours?
Paid $500 for a set of.
That's a pair of quasi racing seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Heated.
Because I was heated, lumbar support,
power,
all power,
bolsters,
everything,
airbag bolsters.
Yeah, airbags. I'm not going to connect the airbags, of course, but
the inflatable.
Yeah,
bolsters.
they've got the bolsters. But I was watching a video on how to wire these things up and get them working because they need a CAN bus to keep the computers alive and everything. So I was watching this video. This guy has a good video, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this a little nicer. Like this guy had a prescription pill, jar that he was putting a little component in that was running the CAN bus signal. And I was like,
you're like, I'm going to nerd out on this.
This is weird. Okay, so I've got something else. We're going to do some recordings for the channel here and play them on what we put together for that. But I was doing the wiring harness or the wiring setup for that and planning it out, and then it kind of scope creeped into, okay, how am I going to power this? What am I going to do? And it kind of led to what you were saying. So, I ended up ordering up, like a Blue Seas. It's 12 circuit fuse panel that I'm going to end up bringing more power in from the battery, put some circuit breakers on it, put it up in behind the dash, and then from there I've got a bunch of different power that I could start coming off of. So, that goes to the rewire. It's like, okay, there's a lot of wires that are good in my truck. I yanked a lot of wires that aren't good that I don't need anymore too.
Yeah.
I did check out everything that's running to the back of the frame. It's all still in good shape. I need to put new insulation on it.
Well, a rewire doesn't necessarily mean
but
that
I don't
you
want
change.
to rewire everything. But like you said, all that new power, I've got, that box has 6 circuits that are going to be switched and 6 circuits that are going to be unswitched.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect.
Always on. So
what are you going to run for your for your battery?
For my backup battery, I've got 2 Odysseys that I run.
I know, and how do you isolate them?
I'm going to isolate that. It's a new system. Was a Red Arc. I've got the Red Arc system, so I've got a Red Arc isolator and battery charger. DC something charger.
I like the Hell Roaring one that I have.
Yeah,
It's always been good to me.
yeah,
I need to do something in the burp though, because I keep draining batteries.
yeah. I'm gonna. And that's just an isolator. It's got a gauge to watch both batteries. It does charge differently for the AGM batteries, which the Squarebodies don't charge like that, right? When they get up to about 80%, you've got a trickle where they just keep pounding them. And those batteries, you can extend the life by charging them right. So
I want to go back to what you said about the seats, because it just got me thinking. Like, I'd forgotten our conversation on all this.
Yeah.
So a modern seat is going to have all kinds of electronic controls, and they're controlled by what is called CAN bus, which is essentially as much as we use like Ethernet in like big networks, and this is kind of getting out of my league, but CAN bus is like the electrical schematics for how you control various modules in a modern car. So that's one of the big challenges of getting a more modern seat technology to talk to an older 12-volt system. But Carl is getting this together that basically you're just going to be able to provide 12-volt constant or switched to this little box and then plug your seats into those, and you're going to get all the features that came with the seats from the factory. So I need to replace the seats in my Blazer, and that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to doing that. I have M3 seats, but they've been in there for so long, and they are so thrashed because they've been sitting out in the sun in the outdoors with no roof for 6 years.
Yeah.
So, did any other questions come through? We looking pretty good?
Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. What questions you guys got? Make this a lively one here.
So what do they make a bigger, you guys want to know about the big brake kit I upgraded to. Yeah, so if you haven't seen my latest video, I threw it up on Friday, big brake kit upgrade for the Dana 60. And it is essentially, it's putting a Dodge 3500 front caliper, rotor, pads and cradle onto a Dana 60. It requires replacing the old calipers and rotors, obviously, but also the caliper bracket that bolts behind the spindle, and then machining your hub down about 1/4 inch so it can have the new rotor slide over it. I don't know the specifics of who else makes them for what, and I basically just needed more braking on my truck. I'm sure there are tons of options out there. I mean, if you've got, so what was the question? If I've got they make a bigger rotor for a C20 two-wheel drive. I mean, don't the two-wheel drives use the same outers anyway? I don't know two-wheel drive stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I know that there's a Rough Stuff has like a C20 kit, or not. It's still a K20 kit that they put on a Dana 60 to be able to get that heavy caliper and setup off of there, get a little weight off the axle, and that's what I'm running on my truck right now. It's about the same size brake pad, so it's not bigger. The rotor is a little different.
Is it
the
still
Dana
single
60.
piston?
It's still single piston. Still one of those big single pistons. But I don't think it's any bigger.
Yeah.
It's just a lighter version.
So I got it from Torque Motorsports. They actually sent me the brackets to put on, and for those of you who do not know, if you have seen any of the full-size Invasion videos, there's a dude out there named Todd who has a huge built 2500. His company is Mercenary Off-Road, was his fabrication company. Todd has been designing and making these things, and they're killer. So torquemotorsports.com, that's TORQ. And then I went with Power Stop. So my suggestion for those of you looking for an alternative brakes, and it's not a Dana 44 or Dana 60, is just Google options, and I'm sure you'll find something out there. I know that's a crap answer, but that's all I got right now.
Some guy just another Jeep.
I know.
Have you heard of that guy? Heckles a lot, doesn't he?
Carl, are you going to finish before my Jeep is ?
Most likely, yes. Even though I'm taking a few weeks off here to go visit.
Well, Just Another Jeep has a trip coming up here, so I hope he gets it done soon. But I'm not holding out hope because he tried to buy one of my trucks today. So the guy seems to get rather distracted very easily.
He's getting close. Chris, you're getting close, man. So, Cooch, I think you're probably going to finish your Jeep before I finish mine.
Well, you don't have me whispering in your ear about all the other things you should definitely be doing either. I'm convincing Carl to do all kinds of extra stuff that he really didn't plan on. Like, let's do a full engine cage. You need to rewire everything. Like, no. Yeah, so... But you're making progress.
Yeah, we're making progress, and I decided I wanted to drop the motor, transmission, transfer case in, prep the transfer case to this weekend. It's ready to go in. I just don't want it sitting outside, you know.
I want to look at it. I'm staring at the engine right now and out of shot.
I just don't want it sitting outside for the next couple of weeks while I'm not coming up here. So
hey, speaking of which,
what do you
guys think of my YouTube studio? This is the live stream studio. I'm going to be hopefully upgrading this and getting other guys other than just me and Carl talking. Just bringing other people in and just talking shop, talking trucks, talking trash. And just, you know, it's easy. And I figured it's a cool way to connect with everyone and hear what's going on with everyone else and kind of figure out, you know, what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
So I did read all the comments last week about... all the questions on Dana 60 axles and where to find them. So I'll add that to the list. We're going to try and come up with an agenda every week that we can kind of spitball and talk about. We're going to be discussing Overlanders and powder-coated accessories coming up for sure.
Oh, wow.
Because that is one of my favorite areas.
Well, I have an Overland rig too, so.
You do have an Overland rig, but it happens...
And so do you.
But it's a tow vehicle first, Carl.
Well, so is mine.
But... yours is a little bit more overlandy than mine.
It is.
I mean, it's got like multiple antennas. It's got about 4 screens inside. Do you have any powder-coated recovery accessories?
I don't.
Not a true Overlander.
No, that's true.
But his cooking setup is pretty legit.
Yeah, I've got a good cooking setup.
Which is good because I do not plan for food at all.
Yeah, you just show up with a cup
and eat everyone else's food.
And a plastic fork.
Well, so here's the trick. On a big wheeling trip, everyone cooks way too much food. So just be that dude wandering around and people will be like, hey, I got some extra chicken. You're like, sweet. Hey, do you guys want a hot dog?
My cup.
Yeah. It's awesome. Well, if that's it, I'm gonna let Carl get back to cleaning up my shop, and
I mopped the floor already.
he did it. He did a.
Oh my gosh,
he's a great guest.
We had a couple of puddles of diesel fuel in here, so
Yeah, I smelled it when I walked in.
it was not fun.
But yeah, I'll be back next week. I enjoy doing this. It's fun. Hit me up on Merricks Garage, James at merricksgarage.com. And, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a couple sweaters and stuff like that. Here. Entertain the people,
Get some
Carl.
swag. Entertain the people. Well, ask some questions. All we have is Cooch heckling us. Got to have some fun out here. And you're welcome, Clumsy Tone. I think it's Clumsy Tone. Is that right?
Carl, you're
Tell
not
us
being...
what's right.
I've
Clumsy
lost
Tone.
viewers, Carl. Very unentertaining.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
it's been one of those days.
New shirts in white.
Yeah,
Obviously
that's cool.
not shop approved, but new shirts in white. And then
Well, I like the hoodies, the camo.
I got a camo hoodies. So, and they're all available on the website. And if you have problems on the website, if the shipping is weird, just email me. I've been having some challenges with it, but it should be just like a flat shipping rate. And what else? What else is there? Oh, I will have, if you guys saw the thumbnail today and have seen my YouTube banner, that is one of the new Merricks Garage branding logos, which I am super stoked on.
Yeah, that's nice.
I've got another one coming out for Squarebody Collective. I'll show you afterwards. It's dope. So I'll be having some new branding and merch and all that stuff. I don't keep on top of that stuff very well. I know people love it, and I'm happy to print some stuff off. So.
But those that logo you have on the YouTube channel now, that I'm waiting for the shirt to come out on that.
I'll be ordering soon.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
That's badass.
What, you like the color, the blue?
Yeah, I do.
Because I have a couple other options.
I like the blue. I'm trying to think of what shirts that would look good on. That would look good on a white shirt. It would look good on a black shirt.
Yeah.
A gray shirt would look good on.
So it's being designed by a guy named APOC Designs over on Instagram. He does. You guys have seen his stuff everywhere. He does killer stuff. And so I've been working with him for a long time on how to convey the image and what I wanted. It's been fun, and I'm looking forward to.
I know the Collective. Some of those logos we were looking at a couple weeks ago. Those are.
It's finished. Cool. It's the old school old
badging.
Yeah.
Old truck badging.
Yeah. I'd love to 3D print some of those.
Oh yeah. I just told my wife.
I don't know if you know how to do that.
I told Judy the other night. I was like, I was thinking the other day, Christmas this year, 3D printer. I need to get a 3D printer and go down that rabbit hole.
And that's about it. I got some I have some pretty amazing trucks coming in that I've purchased recently. So sit tight, because there's going to be some cool stuff coming. And I've also decided I'm going to put up everything is going to be available for purchase. Not everything. I'm not going to sell everything. But I've been collecting trucks, and I have too many. And I just bought 2 more, and I'm going to be selling these guys. So I'll put that up on the website. There's going to be a section on merricksgarage.com that will have all the stuff that's being sold. So if that's it, thank you, Carl.
Hey, thanks, James.
Thank you,
Another
guys.
good week here at the garage. Thanks for letting me invade.
Yeah, this is fun. I'll see you guys next week.